All right, welcome back to another YouTube video. My name's Paul, if you didn't know, and this is the first time checking into this YouTube channel. I appreciate it. Check me out on Instagram over at blackirongunner or Blackiron Performance, my training company. I do local training here in Ohio with rifle and pistol, and if you guys are ever in Ohio, check me out, www.blackironperformance.com. Also, the Instagram page is blackirongunner. Today I'm going to be doing a different style of video. I'm going to be unboxing a Zevtech OZ9 Standard, which is really sweet. I'm also going to be showing you guys how to mount a red dot on a pistol. So a couple years back, I started mounting red dots on pistols, and it was something that kind of gave me some trouble. I was stripping out some screws, having some issues with zeros. So one thing I'm going to be showing you how to do today is mount a red dot directly onto your slide the right way and not the wrong way. So before we get started and mount this optic onto the pistol, there's a couple different ways you can mount optics onto pistols. Number one way, and my favorite way and the most reliable way and probably the most proven way, is actually having the slide milled for that certain optic. Number two is getting something like the M&P Core series of pistols or the Glock MOS, which has different sealing plates and different plates to accept the RMR, the Loophole Delta Point Pro, the Doctor sights, anything like that, the Vortex sights, all those good sights. The third way is probably the last way I would do it. I have done all three of these ways, and that third way is mounting it into the Dovetail with like a Duick defense sight. Really not that great, but it will get the job done. Just remember, 1 to 3, you're going to slowly start getting higher. Milling the optic, you're going to be lower to the bore. Getting the Glock MOS or the M&P Core series plates, you're going to be a little bit higher, and then the Duick defense, or the other basically rear Dovetail optics are going to be sitting pretty high. So definitely take that into mind. All right, so let's go ahead and open up this box from Zevtech. We'll take a look at this pistol, and then we'll mount this optic. All right, so this is the box that any of your Zevtech OZ9s are gonna come in, which is pretty cool. Last year, I actually used this to fly to Florida, and it was very, very nice. As you can see, you're gonna open up the box, see your pistol, you're gonna see your 2 mags, and a Magpul DACA pouch, which is really, really nice for batteries and keeping anything dry. That's where all your stickers, all of your basically thank you notes and your manuals all gonna be in there. As you can see, the Zevtech OZ9 Standard, granted, this just came from my FFL, but let's go ahead and make sure this sucker's clear, and it is. All right, so let's get started. This is actually my Zevtech duty slide. They might look pretty similar, but they're not. This is a full-size 17 slide, which is really cool. I've got the Trijicon SRO in here, and instead of doing this earlier, I actually wanted to show you guys how to take off the optic in the correct manner. So we'll go ahead and take out our recoil spring, put that aside, and we'll take out our barrel. Granted, the recoil spring just went to the bed of my truck, but we'll get that later. So here it is. One of the things that you're going to use, and many of the things that you're going to use today, is actually really easy. You don't need a ton of tools. This is something I bought from Home Depot probably about a year or two ago. It comes with all these different torque bits, which is really cool because not all optics are the same. All the screws aren't the same. You do need different sizes. Another thing that you're going to need to want to have, and it's very, very important in my opinion, is some blue Loctite. I suggest blue and not red. You won't need heat, but it still will keep those screws nice and tight because of all that G-force of that pistol coming back and forth during recoil. You do not want your screws coming loose, especially when we have optics that need to be zeroed and kept zeroed. So blue Loctite. And the third that you're going to need, and not really need, is I like to use this marking pen, and I'll show you what that's for later. All right, so let's get started. Let's go ahead and just break this OZ9 down. Take the frame. We'll take our recoil spring out. We'll take our barrel out, put that aside. There is the Zevtech standard frame, or excuse me, the Zevtech standard slide. Let's go ahead and take our Zev duty slide. We're gonna go ahead and use our special tool. Now, one thing we wanna do is sometimes we'll have to put these optics in device, or excuse me, we'll have to put these slides in devices and really get some special tools, but let's push in and really make sure we don't strip those screws out. They'll come out pretty nicely. If they don't, like I said, I suggest grabbing a vise, putting it in a vise, and grabbing some real heavy duty tools, but you shouldn't need to do that. So one screw comes out, do it again. There's our second screw. You don't need to crank these things on there. There's our second screw, and here is our optic. All right, so this is the Trijicon SRO. This is a 2.5 minute angle of dot. One of my favorite optics right now. Big viewing window, obviously the same controls as the RMR, great battery life, and I'm a huge, huge fan of this optic right now for either competition, and I do carry it no matter what Sage Dynamics says, because I trust it, and I don't plan on frickin' WWE style jumping off the top of my house and landing on concrete. All right, so now what we'll do is we'll go ahead and take off this top plate. A lot of the places that you might have your optic milled, I suggest using like Jaegerworks. They do sell the actual aftermarket plates that will go over and cover up your milling job. Once again, same thing, nice and easy. Push in, make sure we do not destroy these threads, because then you're really into trouble and you need to get some help. And I've had to do that before, and it is a pain. Nothing worse than stripping out screws when you're ready to put a dot on and you're really excited about a new pistol. Second one comes out. Take our plate off. Sometimes these can be a little pain because they're on there very nicely. And there she goes. So there it is. This is actually what the optic is going to look like, or excuse me, the slide that we're going to be putting our optic on. You'll see a little bit of moisture and grease there. I just like to take my shirt, wipe it down, and make sure we don't do that. At that time, ZevTech gives you a sealing plate. It never hurts to get a sealing plate just because of battery connection. We don't want any issues with water or moisture under there. I'll take my sealing plate, put it on, and then I'll take my Trijicon SRO. At that time, I'll go ahead and make sure my SRO goes on correctly. We don't want to just throw it on and just start screwing it down. We want to make sure that it's sitting very nicely as it is. So here we go. Next thing we're going to need is, like I said before, that little bit of blue Loctite. I like to have a little piece of cardboard here like we do. I then take my screws like so, and I dip them in a little bit of blue Loctite. You don't need a ton, just a little bit. One screw. Grab my second screw. And as you can see down here, what I'm doing is I am not screwing these optics in one by one. This guy's actually giving me some problem. Okay, it's seated. So one thing, like I said, when you're changing a tire, you don't want to go left lug nut, the next lug nut. You want to go bouncing back and forth. So you might go top right, bottom left, bottom right. Same thing with the optic. I'm not going to go ahead and just torque one side down and then torque the other side down. So I'll do like half a turn here, half a turn here, half a turn here. Now they're snug. What I'm going to do is just basically do another quarter turn. Nothing more than that. And there you go. Your optic is mounted. Now, what I'm going to do, put this stuff to the side, take my frame here and my slide, grab my recoil spring, or excuse me, grab my barrel, grab my recoil spring, go ahead and put it on our frame. Real big fan of this gun. She's locked on. Final step. I'm going to go ahead and take that marker that I showed you guys. You don't need to do this, but it's something I suggest. Go ahead and make witness marks. As you can see, they've already been on this SRO. I just like to make sure that my optic and my screws are staying where they're meant to be. So I just make two little marks. That way, if this actual optic starts, or excuse me, these screws start backing themselves out, I know where they're at. As you can see also, when I'm done zeroing my optic, I will mark those as well. All right, so there it is, ZevTech OZ9 standard with a Trijicon SRO. Fairly easy, just to make sure you have some of the correct tools. You just need to go spend $9 or $10 at Home Depot. It'll save you a ton of headaches. Do not be using Allen keys. I definitely suggest not doing that. I've had many problems stripping out screws once again. So there it is. Now all we got to do is head out to the range. We go ahead and zero our optic and we are good to go. Real quick plug, if you guys want to buy anything from ZevTech, I've got a code. It's BIG. It'll save you 15% off, which is really nice. Save you a couple $100 off of ZevTech. If you want to get some mag extensions, some sights, some triggers, anything like that. I also have a rifle that's really sweet. And it'll save you guys a good amount of money. So definitely do that. Until next time, that's actually the new Vital Zone target from TA Targets. But that's really about it. OZ9 standard, how to mount a red dot on a pistol. It's that easy. And once again, if you're not milling an optic to that slide, there's other ways to do it. I just suggest doing it this way. Till next time, guys, get out and train.